me. Isn't it my birthday yet? Cause I gotta say, you're looking like a gift for me. Wrapped up nice and neat, babe.
Hello my beauties, thank you so much for watching. My name is Pallete. In today's eyeshadow tutorial for beginners, I'm going to be showing you how to do a cut crease, and I want to start off by priming my lid space. Today I'm using my LA Girl Pro Conceal in the shade Fawn. Of course you can always go in with an eyeshadow primer, but today, for today's look, I will be using this concealer. I like using this fluffy concealer brush to buff in the concealer. You want to pat the concealer down until it's almost dry, and you don't want to be left with a whole lot of concealer. Remember, we are just using it to serve as a base for our shadows. So what I like to do next after blending out my concealer is I like to go in on this large shader brush with my translucent powder just to set around that brow bone area, because we used concealer and concealer is a cream product, so you must always set any cream product that you use on your face so that you avoid creasing and oiliness or shininess throughout the day. The reason why I don't set my lid space where I have my concealer is because I feel that if I set it, my eyeshadows might come out looking patchy and ashy, and I really don't want that, which is why I let my concealer sit for a bit and like it's almost dry. Then I start to apply my eyeshadow on top of just the concealer. So for today's look, I thought I would try something bright, like brightest look I've ever done on my channel thus far, and I will be playing in my NYX Ultimate Phoenix palette. It's this gorgeous 16 color palette that I recently just got, and the first shade I will be picking up is this orange one right here. It is going to serve as my first transition color, if you may. Yeah, so I'm going to take it on my big blending brush. For the first shade that you pack on, I usually go in with a big fluffy brush. This is your normal typical blending brush, which you really need to get in your crease and to blend out the shade. So when you are applying your first shade, what you want to do is you want to start off by packing the color onto your crease and into your crease. So now that that shade is nice and pigmented, you want to wipe your brush down. I always make sure that I've got some, some tissue lying around. Like, you just wipe down your brush. Just also goes to show that you really don't need tons of brushes to do an amazing eye look. So I've wiped down my brush, and now I'm going to buff out the harsh edges. Now that we are done with the blending process, what you can do is you can go back with just a bit more product of that first orange shade that we used, just to apply back into the crease, because there is a high chance that you can lose out on some of that shade's intensity after you blend it out. So right now I'm just packing the shade back only into my crease, and I'm not taking it any higher than the blend. And now to darken up my outer V area, I'm going to head on back into the palette, but this time I will take the red shade right here and I will pack it into my outer V area using this bullet brush. I'm thinking you were made for me. Isn't it my birthday? Really love this brush for this part of my eye, as it really creates no fuss and no mess, and you get the color directly and only when you want it to be, which in this instance is my outer V area. So now that I've packed the red shade into the outer V area only, I'm not going to take that large shader brush and start to diffuse the edges and blend it slightly into my crease. You could be the first and the second and if you feel like you lost out on the intensity of the red shade as well, by all means go back in and just pat the shade on to the outer V area only. And we might want to go back again with the orange shade just to make sure that everything is looking nice and vibrant. So up next, we are going to cut our creases, and what I like to use is concealer mixed in with this LA Girl Pro Primer eyeshadow base, which I like to rub out at the back of my hand to form a bit of a paste, and then I mix it in with the concealer that I used earlier on to form a bit of a paste. Then I like to mix the two at the back of my hand using a concealer brush. When it comes to cutting your crease, you're going to want to use a very sharp concealer brush. This brush was a bit frazzled, but I pinched the hairs together just so that it can give me this sharp edge. So my beauties, when it comes to cutting my crease, I always make sure that I look straight into my mirror so that I can see where my crease is, and that is where I'm going to trace along with this concealer brush that has some product on it. You really want to take your time with the outline, and for today's look, I'm actually tracing my natural eye shape. And when you're doing a half cut crease, you always want to stop just here where your pupil ends. So that is where I stop when I do my half cut creases, unless if you're doing a full one, which is a totally different tutorial altogether. So as a beginner, the next thing you want to do after cutting your crease is just to take, I don't know, but I think everybody has these little eyeshadow helpers in their kit somewhere, or it came with a palette, but I like to take them and diffuse the outer part of the cut crease, because this is the hardest part to blend, especially if you're going to use a matte shade to blend out these edges. But I would suggest that any beginner, should just pat this harsh concealer down just so that the final product will look seamless. You can also use your finger if you don't have those eyeshadow helpers. And now on the small blending brush, I am going to go back into the palette, and I will take this red shade that we used in our outer V area and dust off the excess and start to just pat it along the edges of where that concealer ends, ever so gently and lightly, going in with as little product and building it up as you go. Now, using that same concealer brush we used to cut our crease, I'm going to go back into the NYX Ultimate palette, and this time I will take this yellow shimmery shade right here and apply it all over my mobile lid. Another thing when working with shimmer shades is that if you want the shade to perform, you might want to wet your brush like so. And when I get to the outer part of the cut crease, I always want to fade it into the red. Take that small blending brush that we used with the red earlier on, tap some of that red shade and overlap it into the yellow shimmer shade that we just used on our mobile lids. I want to go back with the yellow, some more, net for control. And for liner today, I will go in with my Wet n Wild Mega Liner. So now I'm going to curl my lashes with my Essence False Lashes Mascara. The reason why I still coat and use mascara on my lashes is because it really helps make them melt in well with your falsies. I'm going to wear these gorgeous eyelashes that I got from Quality Makeup SA.
Don't be shy, 'cause I got the system of favorite things. You could be the part where it all begins. You could be the first and the second and the third and the rest of.
And now to line my waterline, I'm going to go in with the signature Rich Purple eyeliner. For my lower lash line smoke, I will go back into the Phoenix palette and I will take that red shade and a bit of this yellow shade on this small blending brush. You really want to touch that fresh shade very close to your natural lash line, and with this blending brush, I am just going to further just make sure that there's a nice blend going on there as well. And then now I go into that yellow shade just to make that red shade pop even more. I know you can hardly see it. I wonder if you can on camera, but it's giving me a very fiery orangey blend up there, and I absolutely love the final product. For my inner corner highlight, I'm going to go into my highlighter quad and I will go in with a mixture of these two highlighter bombs. When it comes to your inner corner highlight, you want to go into this very small space in the innermost part of your eye and literally just start patting in that highlight, just like that. And just like that, my beauties, we have made it to the end of today's eyeshadow tutorial. Thank you so much for watching until this far. I really hope you beauties learned a thing or two about how to cut your crease and how to apply and blend out eyeshadows. I will be doing a mini series of these eyeshadow tutorials this week, so please stay tuned. And if you haven't already, my darling, please subscribe to my channel and show your girl some love. I will catch up with you guys again in my next one. Bye. Bye.